speaking of full beans, we have Liam, Doran, and Andreas Bakkerud. Is that a good segue?
That's 100%. Liam, the center wall.
Smoking style, man.
So Andreas Bakkerud, he's in that BMW right there. Again, RX Cartel. These guys competed in the FIA World Rallycross Championship behind the wheel of their vehicles. And now Liam Doran behind the wheel of what I believe to be a GT86 chassis as opposed to a BRZ. And we know, yeah, so you can see the Toyota badge out front there. What's up the hood of Liam's 86?
So Liam, being a good friend of mine, was telling me yesterday, he is absolutely loving the car and loving this up. He is full send, and he is trying to get to the top of the gearbox before flicking it in, which is exciting to watch. But to be honest, he loves living life near death, so you know, it's great.
I don't know how much Andreas is going to take away from this at Gymkhana Grid and put it down in Riga next week in World Rallycross, because that's turned into such a battle, 2 points separating 3 drivers. But I think it's also nice for them just to kind of take pressure off. There's no competitive element here, and just hang it out and have loads of fun.
It's great to see him, right? He's doing really well, to be fair. He's using the car. Well, Liam's just sending. Look.
Yeah, Liam's just a holy roller right now. He is just on one right now.
Tires.
And Bakkerud as well. You can see him really running that wall. But I love the BMW. I mean, we see a lot of 86s in Formula Drift competition. I always love coming over to Europe, and they really use those BMWs quite a bit.
Yeah, they're fantastic. The chassis just produce so much grip.
Yeah.
They're phenomenal. But yeah, Liam. He's making mincemeat of those tyres.
He's going to have some tires left for the second run.
Yeah, I don't think he realises he's got to do 2 runs.
He's got to swap over. Luke, that's an interesting point. I mean, obviously you can get enough of the running on the track, but the guys were saying that's a tricky thing. You do your run, and then you swap over, and you've got no tyres left for the second run.
Yeah.
So you really got to think about how you're changing your car setup, you from a drifting perspective, to get more grip into it.
The thing for me, like when I was qualifying, I had to pick the map up whilst I was changing from the left lane to the right lane because I didn't know where I was going. And it is such a big track, you've got so much to remember, but then it's all symmetrical, so you're going the opposite direction. So I was coming down, I was going, oh, am I going left, am I going right? And I'm looking at the temperature gauge on the dash thinking, oh, that's hot, oh dear, where am I going? So, but yeah, it's credit where credit's due. Gymkhana Grid's pushing boundaries, Monster Energy, it's fantastic. You don't get the caliber of drivers coming together at any other event, all the different machinery. It's fantastic.
Yeah, Andreas,
what has your vibe been with Poland? If you spend time here, there's a massive drift culture, really cool.
The drivers are amazing as well.
Yeah.
Serious talent.
So who won this? I know we got it, the crowd is kind of picking, but we're not linked to the crowd at the moment. Who would have won that? Liam or Andreas?
The send limit says Liam.
If you're a smart man, you said Liam. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I'd have to say Liam too. I mean, not Christian, but we're going to see a Christian Bakkerud right now. So more Bakkerud, dude, full of attitude, but Christian Bakkerud making it in rear-wheel drive. But I'd have to agree with you that Liam Doran. So they said, no, let's not switch sides. Let's keep the party going. So
this for me is cool. Do you know much about Pawel Trela?
Yeah, unbelievable.
Because I couldn't believe it's his first grid coming from drifting, and he's got a second fastest qualifier.
Don't be fooled by that guy. That guy is a contender. The car's a serious machine. I mean, you can just see how small it is, and the weight of the car, the way it changes direction. It's such a grippy little chassis. You see him; he's been doing drift masters or like wildcard drives and drift masters. He's a fantastic driver.
This Opel GT chassis, I hadn't seen the car, and then when I saw it in person, actually, because I just saw it on paper when I saw it, that would be similar to, in the States, we had a Pontiac Solstice or a Saturn Sky. So that chassis looks very comparable to that, and you know, that vehicle, I believe, second or might have won the championship with Reese. No, he had a GTO back in the day, but again, a very competitive chassis. But of course, Christian Bakkerud in a very iconic, you know, JDM car, the Nissan Safiro, 785 horsepower compared to the 860 of Pawel. So you got first and second grid.
All right, is that an RX Cartel flag as well? That's going to slow him down. Look at the size of the flag. Look at the size of the flag.
All right, here we go. So Bakkerud there on the left in the blue and orange, and Pawel Trela here from Poland. And as you said, a real weapon.
Both of them taking very clean lines through that, and that's what Luke was saying earlier. You're coming in there with such speed, you kind of got to realize you've got to back this thing up. Otherwise, you're overshooting and ending up in the pool. But great tight rotations, and that's the difference with that small car. I know Christian, obviously, second time he's done grid with us in South Africa last year. So he loves going sideways, but looks like he's actually contained himself a little bit here and putting together a pretty good run, looking neck and neck.
Christian, he's a very good driver. He is a very, very good driver. His car is great as well. It produces a lot of grip. and he's using all of that grip. You can see he's not spinning the tyres.
No.
That's the hardest thing that I found trying to adapt to the V8 was I thought I was going quite quick. And then when I'd done a rotation, I was like, what's all that smoke? I was like, oh, that's tyre smoke.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I have power now, I remember.
And that's where you're, again, finding that perfect balance of power and just that precision driving. Look at Bakkerud. You can see him driving right next to that grid sign. He's really gripping up and not whipping it.
He's not getting any rotation out of the rear. It's actually unbelievable. People think, wow, that doesn't look fast. But then you have a look at the time they're putting down.
The trick is, what I try to do is get the car to kind of stop and grip, let it go. Because if you try and like fluidly run the car around, it will keep drifting and you'll lose time. So I was in the car with Dimitri Iliuk yesterday, just trying to help him, and he was drifting the whole thing, but look at this.
But now this is where drifting is going to come into play. You can look at that. Throwing that back end around is Pawel, and look at that, neck and neck.
That's close. We're having a look up on our timing sheet here. It doesn't look like there are any penalties. We've got a 1:38.74 versus a 1:38.49. So Pawel Trela, second fastest qualifier going in, has won that first little battle. Switch around to the other side. That plays a bit of, there's a 1 second penalty added to Pawel. Just come up on our timing sheets now. So Christian with the advantage because of that penalty. How do you get your head right now? Quick switch around, now you've got to focus.
If you have a spotter, it's always nice to know what's going on with the other guy, so but you can't take a breath. Because it's no good saying,
I'm going to back off forward.
Yeah, he's got a 1 second penalty. You can't relax. You cannot. Was that fluid? Was that fluid down there earlier?
No, I think so.
It might be.
Yeah. So, look at Powell's out of his vehicle too. So
it might be under his car.
That commentator's curse.
You were,
exactly.
Sorry.
You were saying earlier just about the spotter. So I mean, do you run with the spotter?
Yeah.
And
I didn't have time. I had no need. I always look serious.
But what are they giving you? What info?
I like to have. I don't like to be spoke to when I'm driving around as such. I know Bagsy has his guy telling him left and right and spin around 10 times and
drive mad.
But I don't necessarily like that. I'd like to be left alone, and it's kind of my zone. But then every now and then you'll get just an update after the run. You know, like, yeah, good, cool, you can make time up here, or you lost it there.
That makes sense. I couldn't imagine somebody trying to direct you through the course.
So the story in Africa, was it 2 years ago, yeah, when I won in Africa, I had 2 guys on the radio, and coming to the last obstacle, he shouted over the radio, faster, faster. And I was,
oh man!
I don't know if it worked or not, but I won. But it wasn't. I don't know if it was him or not, but it did make me jump.
I'm trying. Like,
Yes.
right? That's what you want to shout back
I
to
am
him.
going fast.
Maybe you need to get your, like Peter with Pernella, maybe you get the boss, the woman, the girlfriend, the wife as telling you what to do. Most guys listen a lot then. Probably very slick
that's
on the
a good
drive.
point.
So yeah, we're actually trying to find out what's going on here because it looks like definitely fluid's been dropped. It looks like it came out of Powell's car as well.
You can't be serious if they're going to.
No, they're going to run it again.
But that definitely is fluid in that. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah, that doesn't help Christian
No,
now
not
getting
at
realigned in his starting position. That kind of is one additional thing for you to think about.
So throw some water down.
Oh wow!
I'm messing.
So there's Powell. Look at that.
Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah, look, spraying.
Yeah, shooting a ton of fluid.
Oh, he dumped it right there when he started.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That is a good tactic.
That's a lot. That is a lot.
But
Well,
you're
you
right,
wonder what it
maybe,
is.
Maybe he's got a hatch. He opened up, dumped the water out before he went.
A bucket in there.
Exactly.
yeah. You wonder what it is, though. Is it coolant? Is it just water? I mean,
Or maybe they've overfilled something. But I mean,
Yeah.
this really is going to mess with his head. Now
Well, I mean, these cars, most of these have like rear radiators and stuff, so it could be anything.
you know what bothers me now as well? There's no rubber down where Christian's pulled away from, so he's got less traction off the line.
Yeah.
So, but look, he's going with that lead because obviously Pawel picked up a penalty, and this is a hard thing for him. He's now got to do what he's doing, not trying to over push to make up for that 1 second penalty that he's got. That's the challenge.
yeah. So in between them right now, the difference is 0.295 between Bakkerud and Pawel, and there's Pawel in that Opel.
It's a great looking car, and you're right. I mean, that is built for Gymkhana. Such a short wheelbase.
All right, coming now into
There's nothing
the
in it.
swimming pool.
There really is nothing in it. This is what people have come to see, a really super close battle. And it's interesting because, yeah, second fastest qualifier against the 15th fastest. So Christian really has upped his game from the practice
Nice job
rounds.
at Bakkerud.
Yeah, he made contact.
Yeah, he punted that thing into the containers.
Powell's got the advantage for sure. Keep it tidy from the out in.
This was a bit that kept catching me out coming down here. You have quite a good rundown, and I came in there and I went the wrong side. And it's an awkward obstacle because it's not round, and it's oblong. You kind of
you can't just lock it and rotate.
Yeah. Do you drift the whole thing, or do you stop and turn in whichever's fastest? These are cool though. I got this dialed. And this was quite cool. It flows really nicely, the track. Once you get your head around it, it flows nice.
South Africa, that was kind of around too many times, whereas, it's like a slingshot. It's getting you through the course.
It's neck and neck now.
Oh, wow, here we go. So, again, that 0.2 second difference. Who's going to come out on top, Pawel or Christian? And looks like Pawel has a slight advantage, but let's take a look. So, again, 0.192 run result difference, but it looks like Christian Bakkerud will get the win. So, Pawel in that Opel on his maiden voyage in Gymkhana Grid gets taken out by Christian Bakkerud from Norway.
Never ever underestimate any opponent.
Right?
Yeah. And that's crazy. Proof in the pudding.
Yeah. We're going to stop raving about these Polish drivers because every battle they've gone into as a favorite, they've got eliminated. So I think I'm going to stop talking about them being so great. But I mean, that was a good race. Probably the best one we've seen to date. But things are just going to get hotter and hotter as we get closer to the big hitters when the guys start getting knocked out into quarterfinals and our semis. Let's have a look at our next lineup.
16-year-old Ben Dryberg.
Yeah, you chatted to him at the press launch. Cool dude. I loved what he said about his dad. He went to Gymkhana Grid in 2016 in Greece. His dad competed. He said his dad was actually pretty poor. I'll use the nice word, poor. His dad offered to be a spotter for him. He said, "No, Dad, I've got this," and he's doing really well as our 5th fastest qualifier, going up against Nabil Al-Shabani. We saw his brother earlier, also from Oman, and this is his first grid. So, could there be an upset here? Let's have a look.
It's great to see new drivers coming as well and bringing different machinery. That's really refreshing as well. To know the sport is actually attracting people, and I think it's going to move forward again. And like looking forward to next year already, how they're going to improve this. I mean, every year it steps up and up. So it is. Well, it's the most unique race in the series in the world, in my eyes.
We spoke before you came in here. What is so cool about being back in Europe is that it gateways to so many other markets. You know, South Africa is a bit of a long travel, and it eliminates on cost so many guys. But you can come across and it's good to go and get involved. And that's why we're seeing so many cool new cars and drivers.
Wow, look at Nabil getting a massive jump on Ben Dryberg here in that sweeping turn. So that Evo from Oman, as we saw, as you said earlier. We saw his brother earlier. Oh, Ben really wide around that ball.
Struggling to get it rotated there.
Now tightening it up.
He had more power. The Evo's got obviously more power and more traction off the line, which is pulled from. But now Ben, see if Ben comes into his own in the tight and twisty stuff, or the car, the Supra might be a little bit better at turning, but he's near enough caught up.
Yeah, he's caught up.
And then we'll go to another big straight, and he'll pull another gap, and then it'll be vice versa until the end.
This for me is tricky. Coming out of this into that pinata, because you've got nowhere to go. You run with speed and suddenly you jammed up against the wall, overshoots it and you're into the concrete.
Oh, that got awkward there for Nabil, and he goes and hits that wall. We'll see if that is a penalty assessed as Ben swings it under the containers, and there you go. So it has shifted.
There's a penalty.
Yes, there's the penalty there for Nabil Al-Shabani. Ben Dryberg around the bike rack. You can see even running that Grecian number plate that his dad ran a couple of years ago.
He's really neat and tidy.
What were you doing when you were 16? I mean, isn't this the greatest thing ever? Dad says he has a big car park, go and have some fun, throw a car around. It's amazing. Really cool.
All right, so Dryberg now into the 720. Nabil
just needs to get it turned in, and
this is where the kind of rookieism really shows. Look at that, moving the car around.
Give Ken back. Don't take Ken away.
Wow, that could have gotten really hairy there.
Did you see our cars on the right of the screen starting to run for cover?
Rightfully so, right? So it looks like Ben hit. Oh no, sorry, he punted those over into Ben's side.
That's about 35 penalties.
Yeah,
I think.
You need to count that up for a little while.
Exactly, we're going to count him for that. But that's what's so difficult, because I think he thought he was back in the game. Just got in the power a bit too much, and hard to back out of that.
The trouble is, when you come into an obstacle like that, and you're so close to each other, and you can see in the corner of your eye where he is and how far around the rotation he is, you cannot put your foot down to go faster. It does not work. You need to lift off to get grip for it to turn. So it just messes with your mind.
So here's a replay. You can see Nabil getting that big jump there. hits that ball, the first one, as does Ben. But it went.
Luke summed it up perfectly. I mean, he had that horsepower advantage game, the good first part of the run.
Yeah, but it all went south over there in the pinata. So cracked open the pinata, and then he tried to crack open Ken Block's vehicle, and then swings him off and catches the wall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, look, you can count them. He's eating those things up like Pac-Man power pellets. So 7. I mean, that was about 8 penalties assessed, man. Six in total.
Can you zone out to not look? Because I imagine for the rally drivers, they're used to 100% focus, there's nothing else. But when you're drifting, you're used to looking at where your competitor is. And it must be so difficult. Certain parts of the course, you're coming at each other. Yeah. Hard not to look up.
Sometimes it's nice to get a reference. Just a quick, okay, they're there. And sometimes you look and you go, oh.
I'm that far behind.
You think you're going fast. Okay, I might have a gap, let's see what gap I've got. Oh, he's in front of me now. Yeah. So it can ruin your head, or it can make it work.
In this situation now for Ben, in his mind, he's kind of saying, oh, it's all done. This guy's literally hit everything. But
surprisingly, it's only 2.6 seconds difference. So even with those penalties,
I don't get that because he didn't cross the line.
Right? Yeah,
he didn't cross the line, so I'm not too worried about that. But I mean,
now you need to be sitting on the line, going right. Your spotter in your head.
Yep.
Keep cool,
calm.
Just
usual.
Give each obstacle a bit of room, so you don't make a mistake.
Yeah.
And just drive sensibly.
Yeah.
But you still have to push. You cannot. You have room to lift off and go easy. So
I agree with you. The best concept from a motorsport perspective in the world, because it's got all of these elements and it's got a mental edge that nothing else has. Like this head-to-head battle thing for me is really cool.
Yeah, look at that horsepower difference again. Very dominant as Nabil off that start line.
Luke, did you have enough time to run both sides of the course? Did you have a favourite? It seems like the left is what most of the guys would prefer.
Most drivers that I'm talking to are saying left, and saying left's got more grip. But I kind of do agree. But then I didn't have enough time on the circuit to test the right lane as such.
Yeah.
But the media rides that I done yesterday, I did a couple on the right hand side, and I quite liked it. So it's difficult. If I could concentrate on the car setup and how the car was going, I could give you more feedback on the circuit. But for me, at the moment, it was the left side that seemed to have more grip.
Yeah.
But then it could be numerous things. So we know we've had some spillages.
Oh, look at this. Nabil says bows out, so he's having some issues. As Ben Driver, he just needs to finish this out, and he will get the victory. But Nabil from Oman, his first ever Gymkhana Grid, another rookie that he's going against. Ben Driver, only 16 years old, from Scotland, is about to advance on into the Great 8.
See, they're another great family. His dad's a lovely guy. Ben's really shy and quiet.
But just humble kid.
Yeah, but when you get talking to him, he is a really nice kid. It's much like the Soul Folks, Pet and Ollie. This exactly the same with them. They are who they are, but they're so humble and really nice. So.
It's the same as you mentioned Reese Yates earlier. I hung out with these folks yesterday. So cool. Yeah. And they reckon Reese has had the biggest smile on his face, the most fun he's ever had. It's like you're competitive, but you're not in that.
I love the comment he said. Who is he talking to? I think it's Colby. And he was like, I just feel like Ken Block out here. And I was like, that's brilliant.
It really is cool.
So still 3 more battles left in all-wheel drive, and it's shaping up to be pretty exciting here. Oh, this is a fun car. This thing's nearly 1,000 horsepower here, and Kuba.
Brzgonski.
Yep.
You've got to say it with
good-looking car.
You've got to say it with vodka in your mouth. Kuba Brzgonski. Listen, this guy's super experienced. I mean, he's raced everything. He was saying in that interview from 2-wheel drive, actually from bikes, 2 wheels, into doing things like Dakar, drifting, and now Gymkhana.
So this is my dark horse.
Yeah.
This is a dark horse right here.
Why do you say that?
Great guy, great car, great capability, hell of a talent. Not a lot of power in it.
Doesn't need it, does it?
It's saying 200 horsepower.
Yeah, but when it rained, I was like, here we go. Here we go. But now
that's the equalizer.
Yeah, it's dried out. It's going to be the same thing again. You're going to see the GT86 launch off the line. Effectively, technically, should be in front, but it might wheel spin too much, and the MX-5 might grip and go.
Yeah, I mean, would you call this kind of a David versus Goliath? Look at this. No gloves. No gloves.
Saving weight, or
yeah, right. Ugh, gloves really hold me back, man. I really got to go bare knuckle fight here.
David Goliath. This is what I love about Grid.
Right.
Bring what you want. Doesn't matter. If you can control it, you can drive it. And that is perfect. We saw it in South Africa last year. Underpowered cars just doing a great job.
But the thing is, that used to work.
Yeah.
And then now they
make a long track.
Yeah. Here's the 3-mile course.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so now I need 1,000 horsepower and 365 rear tyres.
Got to get that balance.
But you'll see, the great thing is, like I said earlier, they've incorporated a few technical sections in where the lower horsepower cars will gain the advantage. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts.
I'm
so
just
you need to meet in the middle somewhere.
I'm just having a look at their seedings, how they qualified coming in. Kuba obviously did a 314.5 versus a 315.8. So there's just over a second. But like we saw, I mean, that literally means nothing. This is game face. This is when it counts. You can be perfect in the practice, and it's the run that matters. This is our little sauna.
It's warm in here. It's a little warm in here. It's beautiful outside, but we're in this no fan, no flow up here. And you're in a sweatshirt, man.
I'm cool, fine.
I don't get that.
I'm melting inside, really.
He's sweating underneath.
Yeah.
Sweating for the brain.
Isn't it weird though? Here, I didn't expect it to be so warm. Is that naive of me to say? I think it shocked a few people there how actually, like, the ambient temperature was really hot, and it was like, okay, this is playing a big factor into all these cars.
Well, the forecasting was 20 the whole week, and it hasn't been that. It's been 25 at least. You know, it's
about 40 in the car.
Yeah.
In a race.
Yeah. A lot of the drivers complained about the heat and heat soaking their engines, and not helping out the scenario. So a little bit of a pause here for the action, trying to find out what exactly needs to get set up.
Luke, quite cool. Bagsy was obviously chatting quite a bit about, the car that he's brought to Grid this year is new from a Grid perspective, but a successful drift car for him. But it was what he was working on last year, spent so much time putting it together. Yeah. And that's what he was saying. That is what you are going through now. You need that here to get that car developed.
Yeah, 100%. So it was nice for him to have my back in the press conference when Jared threw me under the bus.
Jared's gone now, so we can talk freely.
God, that guy. Exactly. It takes development. I knew this, but I didn't have a choice. Yeah. It was do or die. So we made it happen, which I'm really proud of. I really did work so hard. Me and my best mate and my girlfriend, we worked so hard. I even had my sister to go down and take my helmet to the painters, and we had loads of stuff going on. So. But yeah, it's development. It's with any sport, it's development. And Bagsy developed his car last year. He had a rough season to begin with. It's all starting to come right for him now, and it's good to see. His car is a great example, and it is an ideal car for this, and that's what I am building.
Yeah.
So here we go. Kuba there on the left, Mantas there on the right.
It's actually closer than I thought in this first stage.
Yeah.
I thought the horsepower section.
The MX-5 now technically will pull probably two car lengths in the tight bits, because it's just grips and goes.
Yeah.
But he's driving.
Yeah, he is. Just a reminder to you guys watching on the stream, we are trying to work on graphics. So a lot of the things you're seeing popping up on screen doesn't necessarily mean that's right.
Ooh, nice
so we'll try and give you the correct info as we go along. But this is a good battle. Have a look at this. This is a technical section. This is close.
Neck and neck are both the cars. Like we said, the David versus Goliath. You can see Kuba there really lighting them up. So it's showing you that you were talking about that
stop and turn.
Basically losing that grip. So when you're spinning the tires, you're not gripping it up. So Kuba with that styly attitude, but is that going to work out? Firing off, man. Just look at that.
Sounds cool.
It sounds very cool.
We're going to war.
You know what sounds cooler is champagne opening and getting some medals. Look at the little MX-5.
He's actually got the lead, man. He's got the head.
So technically, MX-5's turning really fast now.
Yeah.
On the exit, if he gets it squared off now, gets it powered out.
Boom! Look at that. Oh, little hiccup
over the line.
Mantas, but a 1 second penalty.
We don't know yet, Jared. They said the graphics can be wrong. So just have a look if that does come up with a penalty. We are seeing it showing as 1 second, so it looks like graphics are on point.
So a 136.48 versus a 137.67. So just over a second difference there. But Mantas, I think, could make that up, because now, again, you were saying the left side a little bit tighter. So Mantas could have an advantage here on the second side.
But that looks confusing to me, because Mantas was quicker.
Right.
You take that second, there's a 1.19 second difference. So you take the second penalty off. That ain't right, because Mantas crossed the line first.
I'm no good at maths, so I like watching the race. So technically now, Mantas has scrubbed his tyres in on the right-hand side, which for me was the slower side.
Prefers the left.
Now he's going to the left-hand side, which technically we feel is faster.
Yeah.
So technically he should win by at least 2 car lengths.
Well, there we go. Let's see.
You know, theory.
Oliver Solberg said to me this morning, he wants to go onto his bad side with the good tyres.
Yeah.
And when the tyres are off, be on his good side. They're starting to think things like this, which they never did at any other grid before.
Right.
But Ken and his team have made a monster circuit here that's really messing with you in terms of, do you go with horsepower? How do you gear the car? Now, some guys wanted to, run without changing gears.
Yeah.
Never going to happen.
Yeah, strategy.
Oh,
Strategy, and I know you're talking about different tires. I know in Greece, Petter went through multiple different manufacturers to find the perfect scenario.
Yeah.
And
Do you know who hooked him up?
yeah. Hey, this guy. And yeah, it was pretty interesting how that all unfolded. But here's Mantas in that Mazda MX-5. Kuba, your local Polish driver, about to throw down here again. Lithuania being represented. Again, qualifying 7th and qualifying 10th. What's that?
I hope his insurance company doesn't look at his number plate.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, he drove this thing here, and he's driving it home, or what?
Maybe.
It's a little
But
lull
that
in
is, it's a
action here.
proper, literally, he's happened to be driving down the road, saw a couple of cars and
turn.
people pulling in, just came and said, oh,
Trying
I'll have a go at this.
to find the shopping centre.
Oh, wow, man. But that is what I love. I mean, because that car just looks pretty stock
That
standard
guy,
in his daily driving.
he competes in the UK in the Gymkhana series in the UK, Formula G, and he is a force of reference.
All right, here we go. Back at it, and obviously Kuba with that high horsepower. Toyota 86 throws it down. He said very accredited drive. Oh, makes a mistake there. Almost running into that barrel. Has to massage it around that final barrel into the bollards. Goes Kuba. You can see him slowing down, scrubbing out of that bollard.
The turn is on that Mazda. Amazing.
So you can see, look at that.
Neck and
Mantas
neck,
actually
yeah,
a little faster. Now through. Neck and neck. Again, unofficially, there is a time difference, but I think it was adjusted. Taking a look over here. Okay, we'll find out when we get the entirety of both runs. Boom, punts the pinata ball. Nice job.
That's really odd. To come out of one rotation one way, to have to flick it into, you're not going round anything, so you haven't really got a visual point of what you're aiming for. So you kind of flick it and look over your shoulder at what you're hitting, and then hope for the best. He's ahead now.
This is going to be a turn-up, I think.
Mantas really just rocketing out, and like we were talking about, that left side seemed to be a little faster. Give it and go, and look at that Kuba with the mistake in one of those bumper car washing machines as he exits out.
What did I say? 2 car length.
You did. I think you should take some money on this.
Oh, look at this. Mantas could take down the local Polish talent of Kuba, Bugnowski.
Boom.
Wow.
Oh, wow, that was a lot of time there. 1, 2.
But I think it looked like Kuba was also watching what was happening and started to get himself a bit stressed out.
He didn't look too comfortable.
Yeah, look, we're getting ourselves.
We'll take a look.
We're getting ourselves very confused here from a timing perspective. We'll try and get you the right info now. Crowd looks like they had a good one. Maybe they're sulking because they think Poland's gone home and Lithuania has gone through. But that for me was great. The David versus Goliath. We'll have a look at the replay. Massive horsepower versus, look at that, was that mistake that we saw earlier.